the prime minister. Who is the prime minister? I can't remember his name.
I think it's
Neville. He was a fat dude who drank a lot.
Oh, Winston Churchill.
Yeah, Winston Churchill. And I don't know where I was going with this, but I think where I was going with it is that that they had to work together to get things done. But like I said, probably I can't remember. Folks, I'm going to take this time to cue you in so that you know that I don't mean to forget things when I'm talking, or it's not any sort of reflection on my intelligence. It's just that sometimes I do forget what I'm talking about, and it's because I have brain injury. I have a brain that's been injured several times. And so because of that, I sometimes forget what I'm talking about. But anyway, we were talking about World War II, which could go on forever, dude. Should we talk about World War II? Because that could go on forever. We only have 20 minutes. What are you doing over there? Are we on?
Yeah, we're. You talking about England bombing France?
So yeah, because the French. What happened? They wouldn't rip out and ruin the stuff. They're bash everything, disable the vessels because the Germans will take over the vessels if we don't. That was the thing. And so Winston Churchill said, order them to strip the boat. And when they got ordered, the other guy said, no, in France, the French commander said, no, we are not going to do that. Fuck off. And then so what ended up happening was that Churchill had no hope but to bomb his own ally, and he did. Did you find it on?
There's the attack on, I can't pronounce this, but
it's French.
Mers El Kibir. The battle of that word I can't pronounce in 3rd of July 1940. During the Second World War was British naval attack on neutral French Navy ships at the naval base at that word I can't pronounce. I'll probably put it up on the screen. Mers El Kibir, near Oran, on the coast of French Algeria.
Right, yeah. That sounds right. And that's crazy, man. What a decision you have to make there if you're the boss of a country and they have to bomb these vessels if they don't fuck them over or fuck them up. So I always thought
I said this off. Go on, continue.
Did you ever watch the movie The Sands of Iwo Jima?
No, it sounds familiar. I'm sure
it's
I've heard
about
of it.
the Pacific Theater of World War II, which was fucking crazy. Have you read much about that?
I used to watch a lot of History Channel when they were talking about that. Before we go on to that, you're talking about how they're forced to bomb French vessels who are allied and whatever. The thing about that is, I said this off the podcast. I'm gonna say on the podcast, but Britain gave war guarantees to Poland, which they should never have done because they were not in a position to defend Poland. Regardless of what you think is right or wrong for British to defend Poland, they were unable to do that. So what was the point? And what ended up happening in Poland is that they let another German occupation until the end of World War II, and then at the end of World War II, they lived under Soviet occupation.
Oh yeah, they got
so
bad.
Yeah, so who can say that was a good move for them to make?
Yeah, I know. There's always stuff in war like that. And
then
the stupidity of it all.
Germany was
Jesus.
Germany was determined to invade the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So it would be better off for just the Allied powers to sit back and watch the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany fight each other, and then pick off the winner. That's the thing about World War II. It seems like people are in this position, or they have this mentality that the way it went down was the best way for things to go down.
What I think about World War II is how I think about everything is that we're just a bunch of clans Monkeys. We're fucking monkeys, dude. We're like those little ones. You know the little ones that like to steal your fucking food when you're eating, and they like juggle fucking apples. Or anyway, but that's what we're like, right? This is war we're doing in life. Life has nothing to do with gentility, peacefulness, and concord. Instead, life is full of war, crime, murder, racism, you name it. We're living in hell. This is not a fucking... If it is a simulation...
I wouldn't say that.
If it's a simulation, it's hell. That's what I'm saying. Because I don't know if you listen to Elon Musk, but he's thinking that this might be a simulation. Did you listen to that?
There's all kinds of people talking about how we might be in a...
I was telling people that in fucking 1995. So maybe I should go into my files and get my book that I wrote and distribute it. Mostly to people who... no, I can't say that. I can't say that. I was just getting too hot with the jokes, and I didn't really want to say something too mean.
I'll say this back to World War II. Like, if the United States had not gotten involved in World War One, there most likely would not have been a World War II.
Because they would have slaughtered the shit out of each other? Or who would have won, you think?
Well, I mean, they're both, like, grinding each other. Like, it was World War One was one hell of a meat grinder. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty much a stalemate the whole time. And it was the United States who got involved, who, like, tipped the tide in the Allies' favor.
Yeah.
And without that, like, they would have had to give Germany a more favorable deal.
Yeah. This is cool. I love it.
And to be fair, like, Germany didn't even, like, start the war. They instigated it, but it's like they're not the main factor.
Yeah, the Japs started it. I mean, Japanese.
No,
people
World War One.
It. Oh, World War One. I'm
yeah, sorry. Maybe I didn't make myself clear, but like World War One, it wasn't like the Germany wasn't the main catalyst. They just escalated. They essentially like throw gasoline on a fire that was already burning.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, because like Hitler wants to use people for his ends. He doesn't care if they get fucked over in the deal. He's just like, dude, we're allies, but in the end, we will kill you. I don't think Japan would really have really risen to much after the war if they had won. If the Nazi,
I don't know how that would have played out if like the Nazis had won.
Right.
But
I know that when it did play out, that the information, the information that the war had officially ended, could be picked up on radios and things like that the Allied forces had. They knew exactly when the war ended, and so did their German counterparts. So my grandfather, who's a very highly decorated World War II vet, he said it was the end of the war. And there was literally a bunch of Germans hiding in a castle, and a bunch of GIs, or not GIs, American troops were just stuck, shooting at each other back and forth. And there's nothing. Then the war ended. They went into the castle, went into the wine cellar, and they all cheered to the end of the war. Both Germans and Americans. Yeah. That's how bad they didn't want it. No one wants to go to war. We're used by people who are fucking manipulative and mega maniacal. Right?
Yeah. That's the thing, like, you ask, it's so insane, the cognitive dissonance that people have when it comes to our leadership. Though there are plenty of people constantly talking about how, like, terrible our politicians are.
Yeah.
But they think that, the leadership in the military isn't like, like a well-oiled machine.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I mean, they're not politicians.
They're just men who know a lot of shit that keep us safe.
Like, a lot of the generals, like, what happens is after they're done serving their term, whatever, they'll leave the military and then they'll get a job at, like, a lot of these weapons manufacturers.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like Lloyd Austin... I forgot what branch of the military he was in, but he left the military. He got a job. He was on the board of Raytheon for a while. And then he got hired by Biden to be part of his administration. And so you do have, like, this weird, like, well, it's not weird at this point, but you have this, like, this incestual relationship between, the military, politicians, and weapons manufacturers, because like it's not just they're making weapons for the military.
Yeah,
like, that'd be one thing, but like they're actually like paying off lobbyists to keep these wars going. They're
wait.
Let me finish. All right, they're also like basically like bribing like generals to like keep these wars going. So these generals have a vested interest in like making sure these wars are always going.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if I agree with that fully. I do believe that's a possibility. I don't agree with it fully, but the first thing that you said I did agree with was tempt. My memory's been good all week.
We need to change the name to Forgetting What We're Talking About podcast.
Well, what was I talking about? You forgot too.
You said like the first thing I mentioned. Like I mentioned a few things. Like we know the first thing I mentioned. What's the first thing I mentioned? Because I talked about these. I think the first thing I mentioned was people like not trusting their political leadership, but like having trust in like the military leadership.
Right. They're more stable.
Put the mic to your mouth.
Because they're more stable, they're more structured. You know, it's a way for kids to get it. My brother survived life because he went into the army. He was heading nowhere.
I thought he was in the Air Force.
He was in the Air Force. That's right.
Yeah.
So he had nothing going for him. But he said, if I go and I get money for what I do, and it's a decent amount of money, and then they pay for my university or college education, then damn, I'll go serve in the military. So his was a very structured, logical decision. Now I have another friend who was like, hell yeah, I'll go around and shoot brown people for a living. Yeah, man, this war, I'll fuck them up. And that's all they cared about was the blood. But so these people are basically sociopaths, or when they get home, they're usually recovered sociopaths because they start to cry like babies at night and see how hard war is, you know. But
I do not endorse that string of statements.
No, what?
If you go ahead,
did you say?
Go ahead, talk to. Wait, what's your Twitter account? I'll have to send the hate mail there.
Wait, no. Tell me what was. Oh, that's not fair. You're not telling me what was wrong with what I said.
What's wrong with? Don't worry. The people who send you hate mail will explain in detail what's wrong with what you said. Okay.
The people what?
The people sending you hate mail will explain in detail.
No. What did I say?
What's wrong with what you just said?
I don't even remember what I said.
Well, a few days after Memorial Day, you're gonna say shit like that. Wow.
What?
You know what? Why don't you just pack your bag, get the fuck out, go to China. Take your ass to China with that mentality.
China. You know I hate China.
It sounds like you hate China. Talking shit about our brave American service members and what they have to deal with. You.
When?
Oh my God, this guy.
No, what
this guy.
You're not even telling me what I said.
Rewind the tapes. Rewind the tapes.
Do it. You see, I'm open to rewinding the tapes.
Whatever, man. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
You're with your jockey. I'm a big man act, and you want to be at the top.
I'm not saying I'm a big man. The big man.
No man tells me what to do.
The big man
tells me what to do.
The big man.
Just tell me.
It's been a while since I changed the screen. Okay.
Because if you tell me what I'm saying, I would devour you.
I'm not a big man. Okay.
I would
devour you. The big men and women are the ones who are serving this country and this armed forces to keep America free.
Then let me see. Oh, and now you're bringing up some moral high ground here, where you're thinking that by the incident that I said this supposedly suspect
I'm
statement.
I'm a patriot. I just love this country.
No, you don't. You don't.
Unlike some people.
I want to hear what I said.
You
don't have the balls to show me. That's the problem. Listen, you don't.
Do you want me to tell you what you said?
You don't. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'll defend it to the core.
The way you said, you talked about like service members crying themselves to sleep at night. It sounds service members crying themselves to sleep at night. It sounded derogatory. It sounded insulting the way you said it.
Wait, why? If it was referring to nothing, it was just stating the fact. How could that possibly have any sort of moral or political worth?
Do you have autism?
No. I'm 40 years old, dude. People would have known by now. I give good eye contact.
Actually, I have one of my friends, she's like 50 years old. She's finally being diagnosed with autism.
It must be very subtle. I have to say that what would happen is there'd be some idiosyncrasies that would kind of show that she's Asperger's, but she may have dealt with them for a long, long time. I dealt with my symptoms for years before I decided to see a doctor and be told what was wrong with me. You know what I mean? So it's a tough decision. It's a tough thing.
Oh man.
But anyway, so I said. Servicemen crying. I'm sure many servicemen do cry. What's wrong with that?
Just the way you said it was.
It's absolutely not sissy. It's not like being a bitch or a little bitch or whatever.
The way you sound like
crying is natural.
The way you said it.
Oh Lord.
Okay, it sounded like you're implying that.
In this argument, you're Kevin Hart, and I'm fucking. Who was the guy that he was arguing with? The black dude that's in the movie Snatch, who is like. Does all the bomb work and all the and he's always.
I have no idea.
Have you ever seen that movie?
Snatch?
Yeah, Snatch.
I've seen it. Is Kevin Hart in that movie?
No, Kevin Hart is not.
But there's a black guy.
The guy I am is in that movie.
Are there black people in Snatch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember. There's like this group of black bank robbers or something.
Right.
It's the big balls.
Wait, I'm talking about
the little balls.
Oh, I'm talking about Ocean 11.
Oh man, yeah. Snatch like that British movie where like
Snatch is a British movie. Yeah. It's a great movie.
That's why the side of my gun says, was it 50 cal, while the side of your gun say replica.
Yeah, I love that scene. That's a good scene. That movie is almost as good as Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. It's British Pulp Fiction.
Version of Pulp Fiction.
Ocean's 11. So who's the black guy in Ocean's 11?
He's the explosive expert. He's an explosive expert.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
At the end of the movie, how they achieved what they did was by setting off this very huge like cell that vibrates and gives like an impact. And what it'll do is it'll shut the power down. Within like 300 miles, it would just shut everything down. And so they did that, and he came up with that. You know what I'm saying?
I've never seen that movie, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
You've never seen Snatch?
No, I've never seen any.
It's like one of the funniest
talked
movies.
about. Are we talking about Snatch? Or are we talking about Ocean's 11?
Well, Ocean's 11 is a great movie too, but Snatch is an excellent movie.
Yeah, I've seen Snatch. I have not seen Ocean's 11 or any other Ocean's movie.
Okay,
I haven't seen Ocean's.
Why don't you watch
I haven't
them?
seen
What's
Ocean's.
your little curmudgeon?
I don't have a problem. There's plenty of movies I just have not seen.
I know.
There's plenty of movies I have seen. There's plenty of movies I have not seen.
I can't even tell you the last movie I watched. I don't have time. I got 2 kids.
All right.
Like, you just get scheduled in, man, and then I have to go back to the kids when we're done.
Yeah.
But that's obviously worth it. Do you think we're going to set this one on fire or put it up?
Yeah, we're going to put it up.
Okay. I don't think there's anything that bad in it.
Yeah.
That would get us shut down.
Except for you mocking our brave troops.
I was not
mocking.
Do you
hear this, America? Do you hear this, America? All right, put it in the comment section if you think Vinny should be shipped off to China, where he belongs.
Don't send me to China. Anywhere but China. I despise China. I don't like their food. I don't like their culture.
You don't like Chinese food?
Okay, I like the food, but I like I like the American versions better. The Americanized versions better.
Oh yeah, Americanized.
And plenty of Chinese people support those because they're the ones working in those places or owning the place and making tons of money selling white people Chinese food, right?
Yeah,
I totally am into that. But and my wife obviously is Asian, so there's that. And then
thing about Chinese food, like Chinese restaurants in America, they typically give you like a lot of like food to eat.
I know,
particularly rice. Well, like there's this guy, I believe he's Chinese, and back in California, instead of starting a Chinese restaurant, he started a Japanese restaurant, like a sushi restaurant.
Oh, cool.
And the reason why is because like you can pay more, or no, you can charge more for less food because like it's not like a crap ton of Chinese food; it's like a small amount of Japanese food.
Yep. Yeah. There's tons of stuff you can do like that. Like I can't think of any examples now, but obviously they're hardworking people who run those. I've never had a problem from a Chinese restaurant. Never. Right? That's because they care about doing well no matter what task they're doing. That's part of their culture. It's like, okay, you scoop ice cream for a living. You make 25 cents a day. Make yourself the most incredible ice cream scooper that ever lived. That's the level of intensity they get with what they're going to be and what they're gonna and how they aspire to be who they are.
Man,
what?
No, it's just the idea of like that's your label, like you're the best ice cream scooper in the world.
Yeah,
like,
I mean it's not a label. What I was trying to
I'm
make
just saying
a metaphor,
it's like
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just like the idea that you're gonna like try really hard to be something, and that's what you're gonna be, an ice cream scooper.
Yeah, but what you do is find
I feel
meaning
like
in your home life.
The thing is, like, it's not like
kids.
being like the best artist or the best guitar player or even like the best like architect or whatever. Best, like, whatever. There's just a lot of things where you can be like the best at it,
right?
And you're way more likely to be recognized. You know, like the best accountant in the world. You know, it's like whereas like someone's like the best ice cream scooper. Like
no.
I will eat ice cream from someone who's a terrible ice cream scooper. Yes, like I don't care. I'm not gonna sit there and like judge the scoop.
That was actually not a good example. You're right to pick it apart like that. Yeah. It wasn't a good example, but the best example I can make is this guy. He was from Syria. He was not Taiwanese. He was living in Taiwan, married to a Taiwanese woman, and he owned a Syrian style like shaving meat off a pike and making a sandwich with it, with like all the trims and trappings you could imagine. And I used to stop and get his sandwiches, and we'd talk because he spoke English, and he was talking about how people really take their jobs seriously because it is a mark of shame to be lazy, and it's a mark of shame to not what can I say? I mean, there's shame in that culture, and what they're asking of their citizens, what they're asking of their children, is a lot. Like, these kids go to school from 7 in the morning until 9:30 at night, and then they go home, do their homework, and then they go to sleep. It's crazy. They're really ambitious people. People shouldn't underestimate the Chinese. They're very smart people and capable people living in China, and they should not be, just because they're different than us, they should not be underestimated. Do you agree with that analysis?
I think we should nuke China. Anybody disagree? You just love Xi Jinping. Why don't you just go to China right now if you think we should not nuke China? All right, that's it for today. I think this whole episode I think this whole recording is gonna be one episode. So I'm Nathan, the bass player, and I was joking about nuking China. No nukes.
That's what MacArthur said. Did you know that?
No nukes?
No. Did you know that MacArthur said he once said that if we were smart, we'd bomb China with 5 nukes. Can you believe that? It's fucked.
That's very believable.
And it's also warlike, so what do we expect? This is a country that goes to war. All countries go to war. War has existed in every moment and day and week and year of recorded history. There has always been a war somewhere in the world. Why?
War.
Because we're humans and we behave this way. That's why war exists, and sometimes war is justified, I think. I think it's irrational. I think war is irrational, but it is justifiable sometimes. And in that case, I'd be running out there with a gun shooting anybody if we're defending this country. But, yeah. But if it's an unjust war, if it's a stupid idea, then I don't want to join the fucking military. You know what I'm saying?
I say end all wars. I'm Nathan Crumpler. I'm the bassist.
And I'm Vinny Taubner, the guitar player and the singer.
All right, and we are Taubnernaut, and we are signing